went through so much struggle, which gave me some sort of purpose, because the end goal was like tangible, but now there's no tangible goal because you can't get a house.
Yeah.
You can't get a car. So what are you working towards?
Can't
like you
get security. No amount of money can get you like you'll never feel safe. There's no number.
Like you'll get canceled on Twitter one day and now you don't have a career.
Yeah, no, literally, like everything is so fragile.
Are you lit? I have a half a bottle of Pinot Grigio.
No, get it. No, please get
okay, all right. Let me pour myself.
Yeah.
I was like pouring water.
Drink. Yeah,
I was like, actually, hold on.
Literally have a smoothie, and I'm just gonna pour some vodka in here because there's so much to discuss.
No,
like,
it's crazy.
There's so much.
You literally started on the exact thing we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
like this morning, I was like, I don't have rules for success. Like I define every day a little bit differently for myself.
Yeah.
I don't care about career milestones.
Ooh.
I don't care about accolades.
Yes.
I don't care about awards. But somehow I've hit so many of these things. Like I have a whole section in like my desk area with all the print stories I have and like, you know, whatever shit I've done. I didn't plan out for any of that. You've been following me. You met me a long time ago, Donnie. So you know, like, I've just been on some reckless shit, from the beginning. Like, I used to cuss people out when he used to follow me beginning.
More like, this is something I was talking to Bobo about, where it's like, no matter how much money, how much recognition, if I have to answer, like, more than, like, 2 emails a week, and like have like white man paperwork and like have but like it's not a number. Success isn't a number to me. It's like a lifestyle. It's like I don't have to talk to niggas more than once a week. I don't got there's no editor, like there's no anyone like change this. Like it has nothing to do with a number now. It just has to do with like a lifestyle. Like I want a nice apartment. I want a cute dog, and I don't want any white man paperwork. Like I just don't want any back and forth email chain. Hey, can you edit this?
Right.
Like that's really what my life is about right now.
Honestly,
professionalism to me, the moment you can abandon that, then you're successful.
Yeah,
like Rihanna right now is successful on like every tier of success. Like she doesn't have to be professional. She's rich as fuck. She gets to do all these endeavors. A complete capitalist as well, but like that's the like she gets to live this life that no other like none of her contemporaries live that life.
No one.
She's smoking weed. She's doing shots. Like, is Mac or like Nars gonna do shots on IG Live with everybody? Like, no.
But like the idea that people get and work so hard to be successful as like not themselves, and then they have to wake up every day and play a character. I feel worse for them than I feel for like normal people, because like every day you just gotta play that character.
But aren't we all doing that? Like, isn't all of like success under capitalism just a clown suit? Like, don't we all wake up in the morning, you put on your big red nose, you put on your big clown shoes, and you shuck and jive for the white man? Like, that's literally how I feel every day.
to me,
I compartmentalize it. Go on. Donnie was about to say something.
Like, to your point, that's certainly fame, but it's not lifestyle. But with fame, it's literally like, how many clown emojis are you willing to put in for dollar sign emojis out?
Yeah.
So you put in 3 clown emojis, you get 4, and it's like, I don't have the energy a week for more than like 1 clown. Like, I can't coon more than like once every week. Like, I don't have the energy to. So anytime I see someone who's like really successful, I'm like, oh, you're putting your full 5 clown, like you're giving the algorithm everything you got.
Yeah.
You're going like full.
Yeah.
And some people are down to do that, but that's not success to me. That's the hardest job. Like, that's exhausting.
Yeah.
That's like too much. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, I think of my life as like a circle, and like I like have different pies. So like what you see online is like one section of me, right? Like a small percentage.
Yeah.
And then like my work, which is the other, people don't know that, but like I am kind of a little insane when it comes to like how I want to be read. Like I try to like be read in a very accessible way, in clean way, whatever. Then there's like who I am in a relationship, who I am with family. Sure. Like I just like piece it off, right? So of course what you see online, it's a performance of some sort. it's not like untrue to me.
Yeah.
But
Fact.
it's not all of me. So in that sense, it's a performance.
I relate to that. Yeah, I relate to that too, especially because, well, for me, I feel enslaved to social media. Like, I was telling Dawn today that the slavery... So I started a Patreon for just the well, A, because I just had a financial emergency and was like, fuck, like, I need to move out ASAP. And like, I just had to raise a whole lot of money in a really short amount of time. But then I realized that, like, my entire financial life is dependent on white man's algorithms. Like, I wake up every morning and the first thing I do is I check my Instagram and then I check my Patreon, and I get so much dopamine from that little red icon on the right hand, the top right hand corner of my Patreon screen. And every time I see a deleted pledge, it's like I literally feel like my life is spiraling out of control. And the fact, the fact that my emotions are so tied to these numbers and algorithms that they have nothing to do with me or like my inherent value, but so many of us are tied to algorithms that only benefit white men. And they not only dictate how your day will go, they dictate like how you feel about yourself, how you relate to the world, how much you have to perform on any given day. I'm just like, when does it end? Like, I wake up every morning and I'm like, when does this treadmill end? And then I really just don't also, I really want to separate myself from like big corporations. But then I realize I can't because I'm poor. Like, and then I'm just like, Gap sent me an email today and I'm like, but I can't say no to a check from Gap. Like, it's either you coon or you be homeless. Like, those are my two options.
So,
and it's mad.
I don't know if y'all noticed, but I've been doing a little bit of hashtag posts.
Of course.
They pay me a lot of money.
I love
Procter
it.
and Gamble, Audible, whatever. Yeah. Like, I've done that.
Yeah.
But I've also told my following I will sell out.
Yeah,
like,
that's the funniest shit you've ever.
I told everybody a long time ago, when I sell out, look away, don't ask any questions. Like, I have primed my audience already. Like, I already told them, like, I'm a first gen Somali girl in this country.
Yeah.
My father passed 7 years ago. I am broke as shit. I want to eventually finish school. I want a car and a house like Bell Hooks. Like, you know, Bell Hooks doesn't drive her cars. Bell LC. Like, funniest shit ever. But I was like, literally to all my followers, like, don't try to moralize what I do on here because it's just for the check. We are here. We are not here to liberate everybody because I can't liberate nobody. Like, I'm not leading anyone. Like, I'm a Black Muslim woman. Like, who's listening to me?
Dead ass.
Can I just pay my phone bill and my rent? Like, it's very simple to me. If it's like unethical, I won't go into it. If it's a little bit like, you know, corny, sure, I'll post it.
There's no
because it's a check.
Ethical, where it's like when you think the thing about capitalism is it makes everyone.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, it makes everyone complicit, right? So, you're not going to buy from luxury brand. You're not going to buy from fast fashion because it's bad for the environment. Cool. Then you get from luxury brands. It's the exact same cost the environment. And it's like, fuck it. I'm going to make my own cotton and make my own clothes. There's Uyghurs in China making the clothes for the cotton free. There's no way, no matter what blue check Twitter,
you can't outsmart it.
Outsmart it. So, like, what are we doing here?
So to me, I just feel attacked because niggas are like, aren't you an anti-capitalist? Aren't you this? Aren't you that? And I'm like, I told you I was problematic. I told you I'm a clown. Like, I tell you every day exactly who I am because I don't want to be held. So my whole thing is like, I don't believe that Black women should be held to this like unbelievable moral standard because the rest of the world is not reciprocating that.
Facts.
Like, the rest of the world refuses to change their language and their behaviors to make it easier for Black women to live. So why do I have to be held to a standard that no one else is thinking about for me? Like, the rest of the world is not reciprocating my self-improvement, my political education, like my tiptoeing around them. So suddenly I have to be the good guy? Everybody else is a villain to me. It doesn't make sense.
It's also where I think after you swallow the pill of Afropessimism, it's like, all right, what am I about to do? It's like what?
First of all, I'm not even human. Yeah. I'm like, I'm non-human. Yeah. Now what?
My existence is synonymous with slavery. So what am I about to do? You know, I feel like that's
my existence is synonymous with death. Like death is inevitable for me, and I'm proximal to it more than anyone else in the world. Yeah. And somehow I'm supposed to be a moral authority.
No, like being a black person is literally just a slow and prolonged death. Like blackness is just a slow death. Yeah. And to frame it as otherwise is just deluding yourself into some sort of illusion. Like for what? It's something that I've also been thinking about is like, similar to what you were saying, like what is actually... Because I get so many DMs, because I talk about capitalism a lot, and people will DM me being like, well, I work $7 an hour at Amazon, and I think Jeff Bezos deserves every cent that he made, and all of you losers. And it's like, wait, why am I doing all of this for people who love slavery? Like, clearly, people love slavery. Like, they love their chains. So I'm like, why am I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm like... I'm over here suffering. Also being a clown. Like, shortly after I started my Patreon, because we have a group chat, we were recommending books to each other. And I was like, yeah, guys, no, I'm not buying from Amazon. Like, I'm buying from Barnes & Noble. Like, I bought this from... And then someone is like, oh, no, Amazon owns Barnes & Noble. And, like, when I realized that this is just a circus. Like, there's actually an inescapable circus. Like... And so I really have decided I can't be a martyr. Like, I actually can't be a martyr.
Yeah.
All the good ones because end up
dead. All the martyrs end up dead. Not only that, but like I'm over here assuming that we all want to be free. Actually, no. The vast majority of people enjoy their chains. So then I think about the small minority that does actually want to be free, and then I think about the fact that like you also need hegemonic power to free yourself from hegemonic power. Yep. And then I'm like, but to get hegemonic power, I need to clown in the circus.
Yep.
So I'm now just stuck in this, and I'm like, I'm a broke bitch. Like, I can barely afford rent, and I'm doing all, like, what am I actually doing? So yeah, similarly to you, I'm like, no, I'm going to sell out. I'm like, but I've been telling my audience, like, listen, do not stand for me. I'm going to disappoint you. I'm going to I'm a basic average bitch. Like, there's nothing
Every
special.
time you call yourself that, I just scream.
And no, like,
because you're definitely not average, like at all. So, but it's just very funny. Like, I know, like, the premise of what you're saying. Yeah, you're basically saying, like, I have basic needs, and that makes me a basic bitch because I live in a world that makes me crave my necessities.
Literally.
I don't get to imagine beyond that because the world won't let me.
Truly, like, I'm gaslit into being this cruel sociopath just to survive. Like, I think about the fact that, like, capitalism necessitates a level of psychopathy. Like, just to survive.
Yeah, it does.
You need to buy into... And I'd made a post about how all billionaires have a mental illness because...
They have to.
Yeah, you clearly have a mental illness. You have more money than you'll ever use up in 10 generations. And you're still hoarding at the expense... You're a serial killer. Like, you're killing millions of people just for you to hoard money that you'll never use. You are literally a serial killer. And then I think about the fact that it's us on the ground, us broke bitches, who are trying to be moral authorities. Like,
right. Like, when I see people who, like, go hard for Jeff Bezos and everybody, I think about childhood. I think about how we're conditioned from a very early age.
Yeah.
And I think about myself in that space because I was loud. I was reckless. I was always questioning everything. I was like, so if I have to go to the bathroom and I have to ask you whether or not I can go, like, why does that matter? Because I need to pee. So you don't determine. I would just do the absolute most. My parents would be in the office every day.
Same.
They would just be like, just listen. Just listen, you know? Like, just follow the rules. And I was like, the rules suck.
That was literally
if I need to pee, I need to pee.
Yeah.
And other kids, they just knew they knew how to act. They knew how to, like, you know, stand in line, move when they were told to be told to move, all that shit.
But those are the kids who
are now like they're thriving, but like they're also they don't know what's going on. They've been brainwashed.
I'm screaming.
Oh my god!
None of those niggas are like happy in their lives. Like none of them are like.
I don't think they know any alternatives because they were never offered that, and like they thought if they followed this route that they'd be fine.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like for them, it was like I have all, which is why I don't fuck with career milestones. It's like you now need to condition yourself into a system where you follow the system all the way down to like, you know, to retirement. Who has time for that? That's not creative. That's not interesting.
How do you guys feel about the like thankless task of doing all this, but like the thankless task of like the black thought leader from black people, in a sense of like there's this, Bobo and I talk about this all the time, it's like Baldwin's audience was white Jewish liberals, if you're really saying some next level shit as a black person, niggas is not going
we don't have public intellectuals today. We have Joe Budden of everybody.
We have Joe Budden.
Okay, first of all, Joe Budden is an entertainer. Joe Budden is not a public intellectual.
But people
Joe
look
Budden
up to him
is a circus.
I know. You know what I mean? Like, people look up to Joe Budden, and who else? Who's the girl on Hot 97? There's Charlamagne, not Hot 97, on The Breakfast Club.
Angela Yee?
Yeah, okay, like, Angela Yee is...
So,
but people look up to her.
I think people aspire to be them before they look up to them. Like, they aspire for their positions. Like, they aspire to be in that position. Because they think... Like that, to me, we conflate the two a lot, right? Like we conflate people's aspirations with who they look up to and why they look up to them. Like, and I can kind of see through that.
One is envy and one is love, and I think that's so important to note because, like, as far as like position goes, the part about success that doesn't make sense to me right now is that it just puts a target on your back. 100%.
I got canceled like a couple weeks ago because I was like,
how
Tumblr beef between teenagers? Like, why are we talking about that in 2020, dumbass? And to me, I was like, if you take this seriously, you're a complete dumbass and you villainize black teens for no reason. I don't take you seriously either. Unfollow, block, goodbye, bitch. I don't even want a platform. You guys came here. I did not invite you. Goodbye. I've been trying to repel all you hoes. Go away.
You know, we were just talking about that, especially with like an audience, whatever, be like followers number. It's like, I want less followers because I want the ones who are there to really be like, oh, he needs my support. And I want the ones that don't do shit to just leave. Because especially,
and also it's like,
niggas is just watching. Like,
there's people who have been there who understand how you think. And who care for your like evolution. Your perspective. And then there are people who just care about what it means to be in a community at that moment that seems like it's on the right side of things, right? Because Twitter does this thing where it's like, whatever's popular at the moment is the moral thing. And that's not always the moral thing.
Do you feel like attempting to be this generation that the Twitter gen who cares about everything constantly every day? It's every day.
Oh yeah, it's literally like every hour now. So like you mean every day? It's like by the hour.
Do you think
like,
that will lead to a mass burnout in which we all just become fiscal conservatives because we're so tired?
You know, I think the burnout it will lead to will be one where folks are gonna realize that none of the people that they look up to ideologically, politically, even like on a mental or spiritual level are at where they need to be at. Like the moment you put someone on a pedestal, you have already obscured who they are.
You've dehumanized them.
And it's also, there's a narrative for all, like once there's a build-up, there's a peak, and there's a fall. And something about people's obsession with fame or some sort of like goal-oriented thinking is like, you're just shortening your span. Like the quicker you get to phase 2, the quicker the whole thing is going to be over. So you might as well sit your ass down and cherish your time between 0 and 1 because it's a story. They're going to come for you. those mentions are coming.
Yeah.
They're gonna tear you to shreds.
Yeah.
They're gonna say
there's gonna be a day where they all come for you, right?
The people who are coming from you are just the people who haven't accepted that. Oh, the internet comes for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
right. But also the people who are coming for you. Something I notice, and like whenever people come for me, it's really funny because they think I'm like taking it so personally. I don't take it personally until they make it personal, which is a whole other problem because I've had my Twitter account for so long. But the thing that always gets me is there are people who were like in my DMs just showering me with adoration and praise. And there were also the ones that like quickly switch up on me.
Yeah.
That's
and
the
I love
one.
looking at it as like a study.
Because they've been
right.
They think that canceling you will make them the new, but it's like, no, you're not interesting. I'm interesting. You can cancel me all you want. You canceling me will not make you me.
At the same time, I never plan on exceeding over 10K followers. Like, to me, it was like, I hit 10K one day, I was like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
What the hell just happened? I don't want this attention. And the attention kept coming and coming and coming. So then all these, like you know, little Twitter personality types ended up, like, sending me all this praise. Yeah. And I don't like that much praise from one person. Yes. Like, especially if it's, like, especially during times where, like, I'm not producing a lot of work and there's not content coming from me or just getting tweets. I'm like, where is this praise coming from? From tweets?
Yeah.
Like, now I just don't trust you. Exactly. Like, there's, like, you know, I go through blocks of time where I'm, like, producing a lot of writing, whatever the fuck. Yeah. Then I don't mind it as much because I'm like, you like the work. I'm separate from that.
Do you think that the current unemployment rate has added to, like, the mental joblessness of Twitter?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, my God. Twitter like, is so jobless. Like, those unemployment checks stopped, and now everyone's losing their minds. Yeah. Like, everybody is just, oh, my God. And I think a lot of people think they can... So, in the past, there is definitely a culture of propping yourself up through morality. Yeah. Like, you can... call people out, you can tell people they're fucked up, you can like use that as an educational tool.
Quote tweet and dunk on them. Just morally just dunk on them with the quote tweet.
And everyone's like, oh my god, listen to so and so, follow so and so, she's that bitch. It's not the same anymore. You don't get the same traction.
You don't get anything.
Now you just look like a hater bitch because everyone's fucked up.
And you just get the target on your back. 100%. No,
now it's like, but also You've now created a standard for how people are going to approach your future mess ups. Like, you're now rewriting the rules and regulations of Twitter of how to conduct yourself.
Yes.
So, yes, like, you've called so-and-so out, but don't fuck up yourself, bitch, because we're going to call you out next.
Yeah.
You know what another good point is? Is the moral authority, which, by the way, Twitter the internet in general, like, this is, black people are just doing, like, digital slavery. Like, this is digital real estate.
No, it is.
We are making this digital property valuable. Whether it be, like, the Shade Room, all these, none of them are owned by black people. We're doing all the content work. We're making memes all day. We're remixing things all day. It's just slavery. We see absolutely nothing from it.
Yeah.
But the idea of, like, the moral authority on Twitter is so interesting because, like, you just gotta wonder, like, do they think there's, like, a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow of cynicism? Like, what are they trying to, like, get to? And
dopamine.
Dopamine. Let's go to emo black thought.
Yeah.
Why pretend to be a black woman?
Right.
Why pretend to be a dark-skinned black woman?
Yeah.
So basically, emo black thought. We don't know who ran that account for the all the years that they were running that account. We know that for a certain period of time, a black man was cosplaying as a dark-skinned black woman. Oh, let's be more specific. A light-skinned black man was cosplaying as a dark-skinned black woman. Wow. Think about the implications there as in regards to what it means to be a moral authority, right? Like, you are at the bottom of the totem pole in society.
Yeah.
Because you're devalued for your skin, your womanhood, and your blackness.
So you were just taking up space from, women who actually look like that. That's so fucked up.
Yes.
Wow.
And you specifically decided to be that person because you understood that
there's
anything you say and how you speak...
Yeah.
You can kind of just shoot off whatever you want, and you're not showing your face.
Yeah.
You're not really sharing where you're from, what you're doing, and they ran with that.
Yeah.
And there's now, like, we live in a very, like, also we didn't know about their, like, class status or anything, but lately what I've been seeing is, like, a lot of folks have been getting called out because they've been ranting about their financially abusive parents who are really rich, who paid for their college and shit, and who hold things over their head, and everybody had to be like, wait, do you think poor parents don't do the same thing? Right. Like, do you think financial abuse is, like, specific to rich people?
Yeah.
It's not specific to rich people. Like, they're either abusive or they're not. Like, some people are being told that they can't, like, move back in with their family, that they're homeless now.
Yeah.
Or they can't eat the food in the fridge because their parents bought it and that it wasn't their money. Like, they didn't spend any money on what's in the fridge. Yeah. But, like, little, like, rich kids black rich kids are being like, you know, financial abuse is so real. Yeah. Like, from affluent parents, like, you know, I had things held over my head and blah, blah, blah.
Are you mad?
But yeah, you know, my parents paid for college and da-da-da-da-da. And it's very interesting, like, the stratification of how this works, because those are the same types of people who tend to comfort me, by the way.
Of course.
Because they'll talk about...
They have the time.
Desirability, futurism.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have so much time because they see me with a blue check as somebody who's, like, positioned above them. Yeah. My blue check has only protected me from getting, like, suspended, to be honest. Like, that's literally all it's done.
Interesting.
But I've just witnessed so many folks project onto me. And then later they get outed as, like, rich kids. And I'm like, very interesting. Like, you were coming for my crumbs. As
that's what they do.
What is going on here? Because, like, all this time, everybody was positioning themselves as, like, you know, more oppressed than the next person. We were doing oppression Olympics. Yeah. We were saying, this person is lighter than me and better looking than me and more desirable than me. But, like, and therefore you shouldn't listen to that. Meanwhile, it's like they live in a McMansion, their parents pay for everything, and their parents are assholes to them. I'm like, do you think my parents aren't assholes to me because I don't tweet about it? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, we're dealing with, like, a game of, like, who has it worse.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Do you feel
to position ourselves as a moral authority over the next person?
Yeah. And that's just not how it works.
I feel like Twitter was the nail in the coffin of Afropessimism. I think it's the reason we will never. It was the reason we will never overcome.
Wait, do you want to define Afropessimism? There's probably more white people.
I think Donnie has a better grasp of it than I do. Go ahead.
It's just the idea of blackness being synonymous with slavery for not just for external reasons. It's that the internal reasons are now self-sustaining. So like whatever white people have done to us, they don't even need to keep doing because we just do such a good
perfectly
job
oiled system
of perpetuating it. And then there's like the Gerard Carmichael thing of like, here's 20 reasons why niggas will never overcome.
Yeah.
here's
what are Gerard's 20 reasons why niggas will never overcome?
Niggas always need to shine. Niggas be hating. Like, just like a bunch of things. Where
oh my god.
It's like, so that's sort of the way it perpetuates itself on Twitter is through the moral authority thing, where it's like, I'm going to police your blackness. I'm going to show you why, like, my blackness is blacker than yours. And meanwhile, white people are just laughing. I think white people are just watching us, like...
Do you ever see how people's blackness is pronounced through their struggle?
Yes.
Which is something I refuse to do, right?
Yeah.
It's like...
100%.
Like, I'm not going to speak on colorism per se, but it's going to be like, I grew up in the hood.
Yes.
I don't have any money.
Yes.
I didn't understand the lingo of, like, the specific, like, you know, industry.
Yeah.
I didn't understand this and that. I was outside. What, like, it's so many things that people list off.
Yeah.
Which are all pain. Notice how all of them are negative things. Like, all the things that people use to prove their blackness when comparing it to someone else's in, like, a conflict.
Yeah.
It's always like, nah, but you had a dad in the house. I ain't have a dad. Or like, so that makes you more black than me?
Well, I get it. Because, like, if white people are the ones who created blackness, like, when my ancestors were in South Africa chilling, minding their own business, they weren't black. They were Zulu, they were Tswana. They, you know, like, you were your own tribe. And then white people
And by the way... that pisses people off, like, to hear that, because no one knows how to speak about it in a nuanced way. They don't know how to say, I never understood... Oh my god, you guys froze for a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. They never understood that, like, if you were a continental African generations before, that your understanding of blackness didn't come till colonialism happened. So
it's not real to
like
you.
It's really not.
I don't think it ever really set in for I think you guys all view yourselves as completely different than completely
different, like, you know, imperialists came through or colonialists came through. You never really understood yourself in opposition to whiteness. And that pisses people off because they're like, you didn't know you were black? But why would you? You grew up around a bunch of black people.
Literally. But that's also why there's this whole movement now of black Americans wanting to move back to Africa. And it's just not going to work because black Americans are black, whereas Africans are African. And those are two very different concepts, because I'll exclude South Africa from this because we have to live alongside white people and whiteness. But when you just grow up in like your black village, you aren't black. You identify with your tribe, with your culture, whereas black Americans, that was stripped of them. Like, that was taken away from you. So now you have to identify with a blackness that was created by white people for the sole purpose of asserting their dominance on you. And like, if blackness is a white creation, if buying into blackness is buying into white supremacy, then of course you can only identify with pain. Like, blackness can be nothing more than slavery because it wasn't even created by you. Like, it was created by your oppressor. Like, how could it ever be empowering, you know?
And even think about how, like, people talk about black, like, empowerment or excellence, right? It's the opposite of pain. It's, I am successful. I am, you know, creating generations of wealth.
Got them to see me as a human.
Yeah.
You know,
right. I am successful.
I bought my humanity back. Oh.
I bought, or more so, like, I exploited my way into my humanity.
Ooh.
But here's the real point is that in a lot of ways, and I'm speaking this as someone who like half identifies as a black American and like Caribbean, whatever. I have the experience of both. It's the current way in which we're celebrating blackness in America is white people 2.0. We're just better white people. Like, the successful black capitalist American construct is just like white people who can sing
just a
and
better
dance.
imperialist.
Yeah. It's just like white people with rhythm that have like their own TV networks or whatever. But yeah, that's really what it is, and that's what you're saying.
No, it's basically like, you know, that's the reason why we can't think of, like, you know, creatively. I think that's like, you know, creative cultural production is such a good way of looking at it, is like everything is a black version of something.
Yeah.
Everything is in opposition to what we don't like.
Yeah.
But blackness,
right? Like that white people created.
True African, that's a vacuum. It's not in context with anything. It just is. It just is what it is. It's not in opposition to anything. It's not in comparison to anything. But something that I feel like...
And I wish it was antagonistic. Like, I wish it wouldn't...
Have to be
I
on
wish
the
it would
defensive.
create...
Yeah.
Not even, like, on the defensive. I mean, like, literally antagonizing whiteness. Antagonizing these, like, structures. It's never that. It's just telling us to empower ourselves and see this beautiful imagery of ourselves versus being like, I'm going to attack the images that you guys are creating for us. It's never that. It's like, we're going to empower ourselves. We're going to call ourselves, like, you know, with Black is King, it's like, we're going to be like, we were kings, we were queens.
Can we
like,
talk
no,
about
some of us
that?
were fishermen. Some of us were, like, goat herders.
Literally.
Like, some of us were nomads. Like, some of us were farmers.
So, like, Fella's huge problem was always like, yo, you guys none of you are interested in, like, fixing Africa by Africa's definition of being fixed. It's like, even the idea of Wakanda is this, like, Western capitalist version done by black people. And it's like, nah, like, that's not...
Yeah, but Wakanda was created by an
not
American. I'm not sure. It's Afrofuturism as opposed to Black is King, which is Afropessimism. Thank you for listening to the first half of this conversation. If you're interested in listening to the rest of this conversation, you will find it on Patreon. So please support my Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/bobosvoid, or you can just click on the link in the description box below. If you enjoyed this conversation, I'll be having so many more of these types of conversation with different friends, with different strangers, with all types of interesting people, and sometimes just conversing with myself. If you are interested in philosophy, politics, race, all the things, I'll be hosting all the conversations on my Patreon. So patreon.com/bobosvoid, or just click on the description box below and support me. Thank you.